Conor McGregor vs. Logan Paul has to be the most ridiculous fight that we have heard in UFC history. The rumors started about a month ago or so that Conor McGregor and Logan Paul were going to have a boxing match, but now apparently the UFC is on board, and this fight is set to take place for April. We're going to talk about everything that we know, and talk about how much of a ridiculous matchup this is, with Logan Paul obviously going 6 rounds with Dylan Dennis, and Conor McGregor not even fighting for the past few years. I mean, if I'm one of those actually good fighters that don't get paid what they deserve, I'd be pretty pissed right now, especially with the $250 million rumors we're hearing, but we're going to get into all that as well as some other MMA news, so welcome to the channel. Ali Abdelaziz says that Islam Makhachev could fight at 205 pounds. I did a video last week talking about Islam Makhachev's team gassing him up, saying that he could fight at middleweight, saying that he could win belts there.
His ability, I mean, yes, come on, I see it in the gym, guys. I see it, so I know how good this guy is. So yeah, 185 is not going to be an issue for him.
And I said this was an absolutely ridiculous statement. I did not think it could get more ridiculous until Ali Abdelaziz said that he thinks Islam Makhachev could actually beat some 205ers.
I don't think any man from 155 pounds to 185 pounds can beat Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev will beat Alex Pereira.
You don't think he's too short for 205?
He's just gonna take him down and finish him, submit him.
Yeah, I mean the style matchup is, you'd think, very favorable, but
the style. But I think Alex Pereira can knock out anybody on the planet if he touch you. But I think Islam Makhachev is this good.
I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, guys. Like, there's no way Islam Makhachev could beat anybody at light heavyweight. Like, absolutely no way. I'm saying it right here, no way. He can't even take down Alex Pereira, I guarantee you, without Alex Pereira maybe even getting right back up. That's if Alex Pereira gets taken down at all. Those guys are just way bigger. I mean, look at the fact that Islam Makhachev struggled to hold down Volkanovski, and we're going to talk about light heavyweight. Get out of here. Like, come on, let's be real with ourselves. Islam Makhachev's a good fighter, but he's not that good, dude. Dustin Poirier also has been teasing a lot of fight news, you know, originally tweeting out something, you know, hinting at some fight news, an upcoming fight of his. And Dustin Poirier also posted on Instagram a picture of him training with Renato Moicano, alluding to the fact that he probably has a fight coming up. And we've seen tweets for months now about Uno Mas, maybe Dustin Poirier fighting one more time, maybe even 2 more times. And we heard that Dustin Poirier wants to fight in New Orleans. Well, apparently, as of last I've heard, Dustin Poirier, this is his last fight. He has 1 more to go. And who could that be up against? That's what we really have to decide here. It could be Colby Covington, maybe in Las Vegas, or anyone in the Miami card. I'm saying that I don't think Colby versus Dustin could happen in Miami due to Jorge Masvidal apparently fighting in Miami, because I think we would have already heard about New Orleans perhaps being a location at this point, because if Dustin Poirier is in Florida now, that means he's starting to train for something. That is where he trains. He lives in Louisiana, so perhaps maybe we are getting 2 fights. Maybe there's going to be 2, and then we're going to get the New Orleans card later. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you guys think it could be? It could be in Australia too against Dan Hooker in a rematch. Who knows? We also have an update on KSI's new opponent. KSI obviously last lost to Tommy Fury. Well, apparently his opponent is going to get announced at Misfits 20, the new Misfits event taking place next month. That's going to be with Darren Till and Anthony Taylor. And we don't know who he could fight, right? There's a lot of options. I mean, I think it's probably going to be someone we don't expect. Probably going to be the winner of Darren Till, Anthony Taylor, seeing that he was going to fight the winner of Tommy Fury, Darren Till. But we also have guys like Amir Khan that KSI was rumored to fight last year. Also, Jake Paul in the mix. You know, Jake Paul also has a fight coming up. Apparently, he's been hinting at news. Could we finally see Jake Paul versus KSI? I guarantee you not, but hey, maybe this could be something to look forward to. I don't know. Something to keep us delusional. Colby Covington also responded to his UFC Tampa loss and just had a very delusional take about the whole thing.
Round fighter, I just get started in those championship rounds. You know, I could have finished him in that 4th, 5th round. He was breathing heavy. He didn't have much more to offer. He wasn't going to be able to have much volume in those last rounds, so I feel like I was going to be able to take over in that fight. That's the only thing that really limited my potential to be at 100% was the fact that I had blood draining in my eye and I couldn't see. You know, I'm seeing 3, 4 different people. You know, it's hard to keep fighting through that, but that's what I signed up for. I'm a gladiator.
I mean, I get, obviously, look, being upset, you know, that you lost due to a cut, right? Obviously, that's very frustrating. I'm sure Colby would have continued, but let's be honest, that cut was pretty bad. And let's also be honest in the way that Colby says that he was on his way to finishing Joaquin Buckley. That was just not the case. I mean, Joaquin Buckley was dominating. I think if it would have went to a 4th or 5th round, I think we would have saw a finish from Joaquin Buckley. But obviously, Colby is going to say this to help, you know, portray his image, that, you know, villain, bad guy role. But it really is just obvious that Colby Covington is falling off with each performance. Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum is in the works for that UFC Mexico card. The UFC is going to Mexico for a fight night March 29th, and we're hearing that, yeah, Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum is going to be on that card. Probably not going to be the main event, seeing, yeah, last time Joe Pyfer main evented, it didn't really go so well for him, and this isn't that big of a fight. Maybe for an Apex, but I'm hoping that we get to see maybe Yair Rodriguez in the main event or someone like that, because it's a big deal that the UFC is going to Mexico, and they're probably going to go back in September for that pay-per-view that they usually usually have the UFC Noche card. But the main thing you guys wanted to hear about, Conor McGregor, Logan Paul. Right now, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of news regarding this. I've been covering this thing a lot for you guys, giving you guys all the updates possible. Well, yeah, Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor. We initially heard that this fight was going to be a fight the Ambani family wanted for India. Now, this is most likely just to bring more tourism to India. It's even been rumored that this fight is part of the Visit India campaign that they have going on over there. And when we first heard about this, we all laughed and said this was absolutely ridiculous. Well, guys, I don't think this is ridiculous, and I do think that this fight might happen. Like, I do think that there's a lot of good positive signs that this fight could happen. But what is the new detail? Let me just get into it, guys. Well, according to Misfits News, they gave us an update on Logan Paul and Conor McGregor, and apparently this fight is being targeted for April, and the UFC are involved. This is some pretty big news. We have not heard about the UFC or WWE being involved.
The anonymous source that we had said it's 80% likely to happen. Mark your calendars, right? That if it is going to happen, it might be in April, and it's 80%, but we'll see. Conor McGregor, Logan Paul.
But I have been saying for a while, guys, I think the UFC is somewhat involved. Now, does the fight happen? That's a different story. But I do think that the UFC is involved. Why? Because as we know, like, Conor McGregor can't be negotiating with other promotions or anything like that while he's under contract with UFC. So if any of that is happening, that means the UFC must at least say, okay, you know what? Go through negotiations. Let's see the best deal, which means they're open to this, which I 1000% believe. Now, I think the April date is a little bit interesting. April is very fast. It's around the corner. It's just 4 months away, which means that we would get an announcement for this fight rather soon. I highly doubt if this fight is going to happen, it is going to happen that soon. I would probably bet the summer. The summer sounds like a good time frame. Now, what promotion do I think this is going to go on? Well, guys, I have been speculating from day one, and I still think that this is the case. I think this is going to be the debut of Zuffa Boxing, right? We've heard Zuffa Boxing for like 5-10 years almost about Dana White potentially going into boxing, starting his own promotion, and I think this is the fight that is going to open up Zuffa Boxing. The time frame makes sense. You know, Dana White said that there was going to be some sort of boxing thing going on early 2025. This would make sense, and I think this would be a good opportunity for the Zuffa Boxing to highlight some up-and-coming boxers that they want to promote, that they're signing. And if that's the case, that would explain this fast April date, because the UFC already has on lock how to promote these fights. They even have on lock the graphics that they want to put during the fight, how it's going to look, how it's going to flow. You don't have to have time to prepare for all that because they're already ready to go. And it would make sense seeing Conor McGregor is involved, one of their guys, and if Logan Paul is involved, he's a TKO guy. He's signed with WWE, so it just makes this transition all that much easier. And like I said, if the Albani family is as rich as it's being reported and as rich as we've talked about, it is 1000% possible that they could give the UFC money and say, hey, let this fight happen, please. This is a one-of-one event. The UFC has a good relationship with Logan. I think this fight is going to happen. But the big question from this is then what is off the limits? This is going to set a huge precedent for the company. It has been brought up time and time again. You know, Ngannou couldn't even box Tyson Fury. So does this mean that a guy like Turki Al-Sheikh could say, hey, let me buy out one of your fighters out, let me rent them, give them money, give you money, and we can have an event of our own? Like, I don't know. But as I've said, I'm going to stand by this to this day. I'd rather see Jake versus Conor. That is more legit of a fight, and there's also more bad blood. I think Logan's just going to try to clinch up Conor McGregor. I think Conor could potentially even stop Logan depending on how many rounds it is. Conor McGregor might want blood for that Dylan Dennis fight. We'll have to see how this fight turns out. Let me know in the comment section below. Is this a fight that you guys want to see? Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.